Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Sutherland.
Morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. It's me, Asad Bakadir from the University of Creative Arts. I
Hello.
Hello there. I I talked to Mr. Robert Stewart on Thursday from Atkins, and I just wanted
Yes.
to interview a few interview you on carbon neutral, and yeah, because it's what I'm doing for my design thesis. So I just wanted to. Is it possible? Can we? Are we gonna do this now?
Yes, we could. This is the best way to do it.
Okay
If you
then.
can do
Uh,
it over the phone.
yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Should I just fire away?
Yeah, go for it. Is this on the basis of there was a piece of paper, well, a document attached to the email
Yeah.
called INT2. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Right.
That's
I've
the
got
one.
that. I've got that up as well, so I can just refer to that as well.
Okay then.
So
Okay.
this is to do with the Thames Estuary Hub Airport, yeah?
Yes. It's the one.
And can you explain a little bit about your interest in that project and your your dissertation that you're writing?
Um. Per se, it wouldn't be a dissertation because it's a module. It's called future practice, and
Okay.
yeah, in this module we're just supposed to go out and just try to make our work public so it's actually known. So just try to get, and I chose the subject of acting as a architect journalist, so just asking architects about the terms, what they thought about the new hub and carbon neutral design. So that is what I was actually, that's what I'm doing at the moment. But
Are those two separate subjects or one subject?
it is it it is two separate subjects because
Okay. Okay.
it's just more like an interview, okay, where I just asked that, okay, uh for example, do you think the new Thames hub would it be easy to build it, or is actually going to be hard to actually build it, given its proportions, its size?
Well, anything's possible. Yeah, we've built airports of that scale around the world
Yeah.
a few times before. Yeah, it's a massive logistical, commercial, organisational exercise. It just needs to have the right people and the right project environment, and the right financial management, and anything's possible.
Okay. Okay then. Um, the next question would be the practice is well known for spearheading sustainable strategies in most of the projects. How would you apply carbon neutral to the new Thames hub if it was built?
Um, well, you have to first just define what carbon neutral means. So if it's carbon neutral in terms of a building, a
Yes.
facility,
Yeah.
um, then you would have to get in place some good modelling
Mhm.
around the supply and demand of energy,
Yeah.
and you'd have to put some innovative thinking into how you then tackled all of the different elements of
Mhm.
that supply and demand environment,
Yeah.
and then you'd basically essentially design it out.
Okay. All right then.
I mean, a big building like that is going to consume energy.
Yeah.
So firstly, you have to reduce that energy demand as much as possible.
Mhm.
Then you have to use the most efficient systems possible.
Yeah.
And then you have to provide some renewable offset for
Yeah.
that eventual amount of energy that's consumed.
Yeah.
Um, you might want to extend carbon neutral to being beyond just the energy issues, though, in
Yeah.
terms of you might want to think more closely about
Yeah.
and really taking a low carbon approach to the use of materials,
Yeah.
low carbon concretes and timbers, and just really it needs a very strong strategy around resource consumption and environmental impact minimisation, which basically means lower carbon materials.
Yes. Yes, I do agree. I watched your interview you did on you sent me the link on YouTube, and
Oh yes.
yeah, you explaining about reducing or making an airport low carbon from switching off engines from the time the plane has landed on the runway and it's making its way to the terminal. Are there any designs that can actually make that work, like from the actual plane, then you just switch it off rather than having the whole car just come in and pull the plane towards? Are there designs that can actually help that move forward in capacity properly?
Well, I guess at the moment the only thing, the key thing is if you look at the carbon in airports, and there's some pretty good stuff on the web about that. I think the Civil Aviation Authority have some pretty good metrics around that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it from an airport point of view, the majority is in the aircraft landing and taxiing to the terminal.
Yeah.
So the first step, of course, is to make those journeys as short as possible.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, some of our existing airports, those routes are extremely lengthy just because of historical restrictions on what planes can drive down which taxiways.
Yeah.
So actually, the new airport presents a huge opportunity to open up and reduce all of those routes.
Yeah.
I guess then you need to have some thoughts about how do you then get to the point where you can turn them off.
Okay.
Turn the main turbines off as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So do you use tugs? Do you use electric-based tugs? Do you have some form of parking system? I don't know. Thinking a little bit into the future.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have a sort of system that picks up the plane and drags it round to wherever it needs to go?
Okay.
There's systems like that in baggage management and all sorts of other industries. But then again, the other thing, of course, is to make sure that these aeroplanes aren't sitting on the ground with their little turbines running in the back there for generating energy.
Yeah.
So we really do need to have fixed ground power and get these planes hooked up to land-based systems.
Yeah.
So that we can get renewable energy into that mix as soon as possible.
Yes. The other question would be, in airports, looking at the metrics, and most of the energy goes in the baggage system. A lot of energy is wasted in the baggage system, and for my design that I've been working on, I've actually reduced it to a minimum. It's more like a situation whereby the passenger comes to the airport, checks in, and then can actually go with his own luggage onto the plane. So I'm trying to to reduce the amount of carbon emissions, or to reduce the amount of energy within an airport. Is that possible?
Sounds like an interesting idea. I guess at the moment, all the airports want to get the baggage off you as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because they want to then manage it and check it and secure it and get it out to the planes.
Yeah.
In an efficient way. I guess if you make people take their own baggage all the way there, you've got to look at the impacts on congestion of people with awful lots of baggage. If you take some long haul flights, there's some people checking in with some pretty serious amounts of baggage.
True.
For your average business traveller,
they're
all going to do cabin baggage anyway, so it's mostly your long haul passenger.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something you can do around understanding who has what baggage, and as you're saying, how you could sort of minimise that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the baggage systems could be more efficient. I don't know.
Yeah. It was just more like trying to reduce everything, because following Renzo Piano's one of his interviews he had with the AR, he said sustainable. I don't know, because I would think carbon neutral falls under sustainability. That in order to have something sustainable, it's not about explosion but imploding. So you rather squeeze everything within a small space that it works within that space. So I was actually trying to work around it in that way. So,
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
yeah, and another thing I did as well was I took out all the links that actually come to the airport. This means cars. There's no cars actually coming to the airport, so it's just more like trains and buses. Because with the looking at Norman Foster's proposal, it had showed a lot of rail links that can actually link to the actual airport from wherever, all all around Europe. So I was just looking
Yeah.
at that, and so when I was seeing your interview that you did, it was actually like, okay, I've actually looked at this, and I was like, okay, so this can actually work in a way. I wish I could show you my work, but maybe another time.
Yeah. Maybe. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, have you got any statistics around who the percentage of passengers that arrive by different modes of transport?
No, I was for that one. I was looking at carbon emission per vehicle and distance it travels, kind of thing. So I hadn't yet
Okay.
looked at the number of people who will be coming at the airport, but I was thinking about, okay, because we need to have 100 planes on the actual airport at the same time, and so that would mean around 500,000 people per day in an airport. I would say that was roughly the figure.
Yeah, I think you'll find that the average size of the plane is a bit smaller than 500 people.
Yeah,
That's a big plane.
yeah. No,
It's
no, no.
probably more like 300.
Yeah, no. This was either the whole when the airplanes are at the actual terminal at the same time. So how many people will actually be within the building? So I was reflecting about having 500,000 people. But yeah, so it's and yet I had actually made everything so tight. So that was the actual question. But this I think will be better when I actually do show you the work and uh, and possibly if you can I email it to you sometime?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, give me a link and I can have a look and I'll give you some comments on it. That'd be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I think in order to make any conclusions about
Yeah.
modes of transport to a terminal, I think you've got to have a look at how people get there now, because I don't think that I'd be surprised if the majority is personal car travel. I think there's an awful lot of train. I suspect an awful lot of taxis actually.
Yeah.
I've not been able to find any statistics about that, but it would be very interesting to know, because I don't think you've got to find ways of getting people. People make some quite clear choices because it's a time sensitive thing getting to an airport.
Yeah.
And actually, if you can find a way of getting people to that destination more reliably,
Mm-hmm.
then actually that would probably get more of an uptake than necessarily just being more sustainable. So actually, some good rail links from different zones, getting people into those, it's a bit like a glorified park and ride.
Yeah.
Get people to a location where they can get out of their car and get into a reliable transport method that gets you down to the terminal pretty quick,
Yeah.
and then the whole journey sort of starts at that point. That could be a big game changer.
Yes. All right then. Okay. I'm just gonna jump around now. Just ask a few questions here and there about Atkins.
Okay.
Yeah. The work done at Atkins often centers on complex issues that are revolved seemingly simple. Can you explain your design approach?
Well, I think good design inevitably is simple.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort to simplify a design down to as few elements as possible. And I think if you look at the work of good architects, you'll find that they spend a lot of time simplifying it down to a key number of elements and then
Yeah.
And I think that's the success of design, is when you turn it into simple systems, simple solutions. Because they're complex enough even then, but if you try and solve it in some detailed way, bespoke way, there isn't enough time or energy to actually make it successful.
Yeah. Okay then. The next question is, from your experience, what do you think is the role of an architect today?
Oh, that's $1 million question. I think the architect has a very important role to lead and own the design.
Yeah.
He's the only person in the design team who can own the whole solution and can bring together all of the engineering inputs.
Yeah.
Will of course need lots of support from design managers, project managers, engineering leads, clients, all those sorts of people. But actually, the pivotal role is actually owning the integrated solution.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that was surely, I would say that was $1 million answer. That's it. Yeah. All right then. Thank you, Mr. Sutherland.
Because the problem, actually, one of the comment on that is that one of the things that I see happening is where architecture offloads that lead consultant role.
Yeah.
They find it more difficult to operate and more difficult to own the design because they don't own the behaviour of all the team.
Yeah, because given from my experience when I was working back at home in Uganda, I was working with Kamliger and Associates. It was their first project to do a hospital. But the the difficult thing we faced was you had to do a design and then had to run it through the whole board. Actually, you had to go back to the main guy and then you come all the way back down, and then if one of them just says no, I don't approve of this, then it's like you really don't have a go ahead. So it's,
no. You have to be a very good negotiator.
Yeah.
And you have to think very carefully about how you present to your clients and all your stakeholders to make sure that they all understand all the way along. I mean, if you get to the end of the project and you present it, and it's the first time they've seen it and they don't understand it, you're in trouble. You've got it's a long journey from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Of getting everybody bought into all the important decisions
and
making the important decisions at the right moment in time and leaving all the detail till later.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's definitely right. All right then. That is it, Mrs. Julian.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Enjoy the project and send me some stuff and I can give you some comments.
All right then. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.